Let's go!
How you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah. You look like you're in a sort of like park or something.
Oh yeah, I'm actually at work. I'm doing this while I'm at work. I got the beach behind me.
Right.
We're doing some electrical construction kind of crap, and
Right.
I got some free time to chat with you. So I just talked to Steve about an hour ago, Steve Mann. So let's talk about the new Lionheart album.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about the process and how the recording went?
Well, normally with Lionheart, it's quite hard. Sorry, that's my phone. Normally with Lionheart, it's quite hard to try and pin everyone down at the same time. We're quite lucky because we record the album from home, and we got Steve. Thank God for Steve in the studio in Hanover, and basically he runs the ship in his studio, and we contribute and try and do the best we can from home. That's basically how we've done it all the time. Even in Reality of Miracles in lockdown, we were able to do it from home because none of us were working, because we all have other projects that we work on. As I say, with Lionheart, unfortunately, Lionheart doesn't generate an income, so we have to have other projects which we all work with different bands and tour with different people and try and earn a living that way. But recording is normally the same. Get all the stuff together at home, send it over. Steve downloads it all and then puts it all together. Yeah, it's pretty good.
How do you like modern technology and being able to record an album when you're not even all together and things like that? How is that kind of?
Well, basically, I know nothing about it. I'm not worried about admitting to that. I'm absolutely useless at home. At home, we don't have internet. I don't have a computer. I don't have Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything. Just my phone. I'm very lucky to be able to come here in Ferrycroft Studios in Saffron Walden, which is a recording, rehearsal, arts and media centre, which a friend of mine owns. So I'm quite happy to have Lee and Tim here, who they set all this up for me, and they just say, push that button, and then all of a sudden you appear. Yeah, so I roughly know how it works. Recording is pretty simple for me because any ideas I have, any songs that I'm working on, I can record on Cubase, so I don't need any Wi-Fi for that. I can just record it on Cubase and record it all on my laptop, and then I can send it to Steve another way. And then he re-records it in the studio with proper equipment rather than just demo stuff, you know. So I know how roughly it works. I'm still having a problem with internet stuff, trying to book a flight. And yesterday I tried to book a parking space in Stansted Airport because next week, week after next, I'm in Italy for some shows. And I ended up booking 2 car parking spaces for my 1 car.
Okay.
So I still haven't mastered it yet.
Okay. I'm going to ask you some of the same questions that I asked Steve, because it's relevant. So you've had a very long, adventurous, awesome career.
Yeah.
And what are you most proud of?
I wouldn't be able to answer that with one answer. I'm one of these people that when we were 16, 17 and we bought our first guitar when we were living in East London, we all had a dream of, I used to watch a band at the Bridge House at Canning Town, Bridge House, Terry Newman and Power Pack, and my ambition was to play at the Bridge House. And I did that when we were like 19, 20. And from that day onwards, and now I'm 71, 51 years, I've slowly, I would say slowly, probably done most of the things I ever dreamed about doing. You know, playing the Marquee, playing the Rainbow, playing Hammersmith, going to America. You know, it's playing Reading Festival. It's always conquering your dreams, and I think I've done most of them. There's still a couple on my bucket list that I'm hoping will happen before I go to the big gig in the sky. I don't know. But I would say every achievement I've ever done is probably one of the best things, because you just don't stop. You know, if something else has come along. I just come back from Brazil, 6 weeks in Brazil on a tour, and I never thought I'd ever see Brazil or tour Brazil, but I did. You know, so every time you do something, and that was only November and December. So even now at 71, I'm still conquering their ambitions. So everyone is a different competition, a different hurdle to jump over, you know.
Absolutely. So you mentioned a couple more bucket list things. What's on that bucket list?
Well, I imagine I've always said to Steve Harris that the last thing on my bucket list is to do one more song with a band.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind what song it is, but it would be great before they give it all up and retire as probably the biggest band in the world. It would be lovely just to stand on stage with them and play one more song. You know, I don't know. It might never happen, but it's always been on my bucket list.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people, of course, you know, obviously Iron Maiden has had an unbelievable career, and I've always been, I love everything they've done, but I've always been partial to the first two albums, and more specifically, the first album. So, and I, whenever someone asks, what's your favorite Maiden album, my first one, and they're like, really? It's like, yeah, no, it's my favorite. And so when this came up, I had to do it. You know, it's like if I can talk to Dennis at least once, that's bucket list. You know, so that's cool for me. I got to see Paul Di'Anno 2011. I saw him at the Key Club in Hollywood, playing most of the first albums. Loved it, fantastic, and but you also had quite the career with Praying Mantis.
Yeah. 15 years. Yeah.
So what led you to parting with them?
Well, the funny thing is that once the Lionheart album had come out, Hot Tournament in 84, 85,
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those things where we toured and we did everything we could. And sorry, hold on. And so joining Mantis around about 1990 was great, because it was the same setup as Lionheart, twin guitars, harmony guitars, 3-part harmony vocals. I've always liked Praying Mantis because they supported us, Maiden, at the Metal for Mothers tour. So it was like going from one band to another, similar sort of like job.
Right.
But when around about, I think it was 2003, 2004, we did a best of album, favorite songs from we had about 15 years. I think we had about 8 or 9 albums out, and some videos and that, and live in Tokyo and that. So it was only a matter of the record company closing their rock department. We got a message through from a guy that was looking after us at the time, saying that unfortunately we didn't have a record deal because they were shutting the rock department down. So we had a meeting and we said, like, 15 years is a long time. Tino and Chris were thinking of doing a couple of other different things, and didn't know what to do, didn't know whether to keep the band going. So basically, yeah, then we sort of disbanded. 15 years. So it was a great 15 years. So basically, I would have said 2006, 7 was the first time ever from the age of 17, 18 that I was without a band, because a lot of people join different bands and go from one band to another or whatever. But I've been quite lucky because, you know, I was with RDB, Remusdown Boulevard, from the age of sort of like 18, 19 until 1979, and then joining Maiden. And then we had Lionheart and then playing Mantis. So when you look back on it, you think, well, I've not played with many bands because there was no need to. We were quite happy staying in the same band for a long period, you know. So it was quite nice. And it was there was talk about me rejoining the band when they decided to reform. But I was very busy doing other projects, which I'm still doing now. So we have to do these projects. As I say, Lionheart doesn't create an income, so we have to do these other projects, which pays the rent and pays for the food. So we have to work somehow. So
Sure.
yeah, so I'm still.
What's considered your main project right now?
Well, I've been doing for many years. I think about 17, 18 years.
Okay.
I've been doing these festivals and shows and small tours in Europe with the Maiden conventions, which is with all different kinds of different countries. You know, Holland, Germany, Belgium, France, Italy, Spain. As I say, I've just come back from Brazil, so that generated quite a bit of income for me to be able to do that kind of work. And lately, over the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years, I've been working with Maiden United, which is a completely different style, a different thing altogether, because it's acoustic. I love the acoustic band. I love Maiden United because you can sit down all night. But no, not only that, I'm not used to playing an acoustic guitar, so it's hard for me. I've never been used to playing acoustic. But the way they transform the songs is fantastic. So I do love playing with them. But getting back with Lionheart on the road would be fantastic if we can get out there and play, if it's possible.
So after the new album comes out, what is 2024 and 2025 looking like right now? What's the agenda?
Well, 24 and 25, Lionheart will still be broke, will still be skint with no money. So, as I've said many times before, I quote Bruce Dickinson when he did an interview with someone about people buying albums and streaming and downloading, and he made a big point of how can you expect a band to play live when you don't buy their albums?
Right.
And it's basically as simple as that. You know, if someone's going to go and download an album for £1 or stream it and then expect that band to come to their city and play, how do they expect them to be able to pay for it? And it is a vicious circle. I just said the same thing with a friend of mine just now. Bruce was dead right. You know, it's lucky that Bruce doesn't have to worry about money. So Maiden are fantastic. They're massive. So they don't have to worry about that. The merchandise they sell, the tickets they sell, it's not a problem. It's bands like us and other bands that are in that middle sector of up the ladder. You're not at the bottom, you're not at the top, you're in the middle. And it's very hard for us kind of bands to go and play out doing different shows when there's no money coming in from the records. So basically, with the artwork that Tristan does for our albums, I remember going out when I was younger and couldn't wait to buy new albums, to read the inside sleeve, to read all about the band, to learn more about the band, to see the photographs. One of my biggest buzzes was Steely Dan. Jesus, you'd buy their album and you'd open the cover and you'd see 16 musicians. You'd see 5 different bands from Chicago, New York, LA. Oh, who's on this record?
Right.
You know, it's an endless learning thing, about a learning process about musicians. And oh, he's on this album. Wow, he's from that band. It goes without saying, if you buy the album with the artwork, you're in for a treat. It's fantastic artwork. The songs are great. As you know, Steve's probably told you, it's a concept album regarding people that sacrificed their lives in the war. It's not about war. It's about people that sacrificed their lives, who gave their lives for us to be able to live, hopefully, a peaceful life, a free life. But same old story. You want to see the band play live? Then help them out by buying the record, the proper record. Pay the full price. Don't try and stream it, tape it, download it. Just buy it, and then enable us to hire that van and get out there on the road. We don't want any money. We don't want paying a wage or a huge sum of money for playing live. We just want to be able to play live. And we can't do that while we've got nothing to pay for a hire van to get us from here to Manchester or flight tickets to America. So, you know, you've got to help the bands by buying the album. So, yeah.
I firmly agree. You know, that's still one of my favorite things is album release day, and you buy it, and one of my favorite things to do is when I unwrap, you know, I buy CDs, but when I unwrap it and I open it up, I like to smell the freshness of the CD booklet.
Yeah.
Then I scroll through it and look at the lyrics and look at all the credits, and I love that stuff. You know, I like owning it.
Yeah,
I like
me too.
having it in my hand. And
yeah, exactly.
It's a shame that it's disappeared so quickly, you know. And
well, I think, to be honest, whoever invented this streaming or downloading or whatever you want to call it, I'm not IT. I'm not up on IT. I don't know, but all I'm saying is there should have been, from the Musicians Union, or there should have been something from representing the bands to say, well, hold on a minute. These bands have got to survive. They've got to try and tour. They've got to try and play live to their fans. How are they supposed to do it? Ask the question. Then say to these people that are doing this, say, you earn enough money, millions of pounds, millions of dollars a year. So you need to pay for this to be done. So if the people that are downloading it or streaming it don't have to pay, then you pay. And what is it to these people that run these companies? Piss in the ocean, you know, it's ridiculous. And so I feel very strongly about that. We're unable to, you know. And I heard today that there's this guy on whatever it is, YouTube, whatever he does, I don't know, I've never heard of him before, but he's called The Beast.
Okay. And
he came on the radio today. Have you ever heard of him? The guys in the UK, in London, they're saying, no, I've never heard of him. Well, he does this on this Twitter or whatever, and the amount of downloads or the amount of hits he gets, he earns £500,000 every clip. I'm sitting indoors thinking, what does it do to be a beast? What do you have to do? You know what I mean? You know, where does it end? How ridiculous, you know what I mean? So, as I say, buy the album and help the bands tour.
All right. I love it. So, for any of the longtime fans and the fans yet to be, what do you have to say to them?
Well, it's been sad over the last, what with COVID and what with lockdown and what with everything else, and now it couldn't get any worse, because not only people are still getting over COVID and still suffering from COVID with either employment or whatever. I'm not going to get political, but people are still suffering, and now we get hit even more with the energy crisis and the economic situation where food and drink is now becoming unaffordable.
Yep.
I just say we've got to pull together. I can't ask people that have lost their job to go out and spend £12 or £14 on a record when they can't feed their children. So it's a very hard question. All I can say is if it is possible, if you want to see Lionheart play live, if you want to see Lionheart tour and come to America or come to Europe, then buy the album. It's not a lot else I can say. Everyone at this moment is suffering. People that are not suffering are the people that start the wars and start the problems, because they're probably well off and probably comfortable, like our government and our MPs. They all live in massive big houses. So I'm not going to get on the political ladder, but buy the album, put a bit of income into Lionheart so we can tour. If you can't buy it and you're not working, then by all means stream it, as long as you listen to our music. Download it as long as you listen to our music, because it makes us feel that we've done a good job and that we've done what we set out to do, is to please people with our music.
I love it. Well, Dennis,
Yeah.
I appreciate your time so much.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you.
Thank you for making the travel down so that you can even do this. And
no, I don't mind.
Thank you to the guys in the back for setting it up.
Yeah, they've gone now, so I'm here on my own. So hopefully there's no other Zoom meeting after this, because I don't know how to do it.
All right, Dennis.
No, lovely to see you, mate. Lovely to speak to
you. Thank you very much for your time, and well wishes for 2024, and hope things go well.
23rd of February, The Grace of a Dragonfly. And the new video comes out on YouTube next Friday. So please go out and get it. Go out and get it.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Marcus.